Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. I am your host, John Kovach Jr., founder of the Champion Circle Networking Association, locally based in Salt Lake City and expanding to cities near you. I am so pumped. I mentioned in our earlier interviews this morning that I've been traveling like wild. It has been amazing, and I just wanted to share a few cool, quick updates with everybody as I've been taking the book tour across the country, the 13 Steps to Riches, Habitude Warrior, featuring Dennis Waitley in this volume number 1, as we've been talking about desire. And just, it's so crazy. We've done so much traveling and so much work to do for this one book to get into bookstores. We're actually leading a movement because a lot of the bookstores these days aren't letting people back in for book signings or events just due to the pandemic, and whatever you believe is whatever you believe. But essentially bookstores aren't letting people in, but we launched our book series and we did an official historical book signing at one of the oldest Barnes & Nobles, Barnes & Noble, there's no S at the end, Barnes & Noble in San Diego, one of the longest lasting, oldest Barnes & Noble in the country. And it was historical, it was great, and it gave us the thumbs up to take our book signings all over the world. And so we are really excited about that. It's been a lot of work coming. We're putting in all the work and time. And what's even better about this is, if you haven't picked up your copy yet, pick it up now. But what's really cool about this is book 2, volume 2 right here on faith comes out in less than 20 days. Like, it literally is coming out in just a few weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. But more than that, today I have a pleasure and opportunity of interviewing one of my newest friends who I've met on Clubhouse, and she is a superwoman, a human being, an amazing entrepreneur, an incredible professional, and I can't wait to introduce you guys. You see, there's this movie back in the day, and when I say back in the day, it's kind of weird because I'm not that old, right? But I back in the day for me is like 80s and 90s, right? 80s and 90s. So that's not too bad. And it was called Cheaper by the Dozen. And it was regarding a family. And if you guys remember the actors and actresses, it was regarding a family that had 12 children. Well, this amazing individual has more than 12 children. This is so cool. I'm so excited. I've never had a friendship with anyone who's had more than 12 children. I have never met someone who's as excited and excitable to bring on this podcast. I'm really excited to introduce to you guys my newest friend who I met on Clubhouse, the one, the only, Miss America's SuperMom, who is muted at the moment. And she is also someone who I'm getting to know at a better way. But welcome to my show, to the Circle of Knowledge, LaChelle Adkins, everybody. LaChelle, how are you doing today?
I am awesome. Yeah, I had my mute on because you never know what the background noise was like.
You're
doing your intro, it's just crazy.
Awesome.
But I am so excited to be here, loving your energy. I am just ready to dive into some great conversations. So I'm excited.
Fantastic. And I really wanted to tell a quick story. So I filled in for Eric, Mr. Awesome Swanson on Clubhouse, where I was able to keynote speak and just talk a little bit about my expertise in masterminds. And this conversation went on for hours, I swear, but it was so much fun to hang out. And LaChelle is an amazing entrepreneur. In fact, she's super influential on Clubhouse, but she's actually one of the moderators in this amazing, long-lasting one of the top groups on Clubhouse for entrepreneurship, for people wanting inspiration and learning from some of the greats. And I had the fortune of being on the stage as one of the spotlights, but literally felt myself surrounded by some of and most of the great entrepreneurs of our time. And LaChelle was one of those individuals, moderating the room, asking great questions, delegating, facilitating. She's phenomenal. And I just want to give a little bit of an update or share a little bit about you, but I want you to kind of tell me or tell my listeners a little bit about your story. But she is, LaChelle Adkins is a mental wellness advocate. She's the mother of 15. I wanted to say it. She's 15 children, and she's also a best-selling author. She's a podcast host, TV producer, lifestyle designer, and coach. Honestly, she is America's SuperMom. I can't wait for you guys to get to know her. But let's dive in a little bit. Give us a little bit of information as to where you're from, where you're at, and then we'll go back in time. We'll talk a little bit about what became of America's Supermom. But
Yes.
tell us a little bit about where you're at right now.
Awesome. So another thing that I would add to that bio that you mentioned is that I'm also in a comic book. So
Yes!
that is something, yes, that's something that we've recently released with trading cards, you name it. It's a bunch of stuff that's there. But I was raised an only child. I'm originally from Indiana, graduated from Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, which is where I met my husband. And that's how life began with us. You know, we just had the goal of thinking we're just going to have a couple kids, and life had another plan for us. And here we are with 15. So in actuality, I've had 13 of our 15 children. 2 of them are my stepchildren. And life has been just a roller coaster ride ever since. I would say, you know, I've always had a business love for business. You know, marketing was my degree in college. And I really had a time in my life where I felt like I really couldn't be successful as a business person and be a mom at the same time. So I struggled with depression. That's part of my journey, 13 years. And that's really what my books are about. I've collaborated on 3 books, and just telling the story about what depression looked like for me, because it wasn't staying at home and being in the bed. Of course, with a family our size, I didn't have time for that. So even though I was productive in accomplishing things on my daily checklist, I had no idea that I was depressed. And that's one of the reasons why I'm such an advocate today, to really inform people that it looks different for different people. But even during that journey of depression, I was hospitalized 3 times. And
Wow.
It was that 3rd hospitalization that really catapulted me into being a coach and publicly finding opportunities in any form of media to raise awareness about the importance of mental wellness.
Wow. I'm already, we've dove in deep about you and your life and your history, and that's incredible. And congratulations on your whole family. This is so interesting. And you're now a mental health advocate, but also a coach. Tell us a little bit more about the thing, obviously coming from experience and a little bit of training and a little bit of certification and background, but tell us a little bit about what you do to help people with your coaching and how you use your expertise or your knowledge or your experience to help people.
Yeah, I think one of the things is total transparency.
Yeah.
In addition to having my own journey, my husband is also a retired military officer. He retired as a major, but he's also a pastor. So for so many times in my life, I felt like I wore different masks, you know, to be an officer's wife, one to be a leader in the church and in the community, and then just having a number of kids. So I really was not clear about who I was. I lost my identity during this journey. Mm-hmm. And so I really dive into helping people find their voice and have the courage to use their voice. I think there's a lot of strength in being able to be your true self and to, just take a leap of faith and say whatever really is true for you, whether it's popular or not. Because it's in that journey that you really find your own voice and you're able to find out, what you really can do and be, and bring that so much more to light in the world.
Wow. Digging in a little bit more about your children. How many boys, how many girls, what's the count?
Yeah. So it's 9 girls, 6 boys. There's no twins. They're all single births. The ages are 7 to 31.
Wow. Okay.
And they're 18 to 20 months apart. So they're stair steps.
Wow.
Yeah.
They are stair steps. Wow. You are amazing. That is so cool. And it's a girl power family with nine
Yeah.
sisters and
Or a girl
6
drama
boys.
family. How about that?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, that's
Mhm.
amazing, and I want my listeners to get to know you because you have this. Your story is so unique. I've
Mhm.
never heard anything like it.
Mhm.
I've never heard of, nor have I experienced or met somebody who has gone through what they've gone through. And today you're wearing a patriotic hat with a huge smile on your face and, beautiful complexion with lipstick, and you are on fire. And
Love
how
it.
do you do it? What are some of your coping mechanisms? What
Yeah.
has allowed you to really surpass the inevitable and overcome the impossible?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is letting go of my ego. As I mentioned before, I was an only child, and academics was something that was just the non-negotiable in my household. My
Yeah.
mother was one of 12 children, so
Wow.
she had one and was like, that's enough. But with that, education was her way out. She was the first one to go to college, and she just said education is the key. So with that success, I believe it led me down a road of scarcity, of competition, not willing to ask for help because I thought it was a sign of weakness, all the things that really led to my downfall. So once I was able to let go of that ego and say, you know what, you don't know everything, and be open about that and to just accept it and recognize that I may not know something yet. It's okay. And I can ask for help to get it. I think that's been the biggest catalyst for my change. And I surround myself with like-minded people. And that's not just people my age. It's not just people in my industry. It is not just people that look like me, that talk like me. It's a diversity in terms of age, gender, industry. And that's the thing that really helps me to evolve daily. And I believe that, it's something I have to be conscious about. It's not going to happen if I don't really make it a priority. So I think willing to be able to not get credit and to learn how to really, truly collaborate with people rather than be in this competition has really been just the whole game changer in my life now.
That's so beautifully said. I couldn't agree more. And I know that when we met on Clubhouse, the number one thing I was pushing was the power of collaboration. And you were such an advocate for that. And you live this, you breathe this.
Mhm.
This is amazing. I love collaboration because where competition creates some sort of angst and negativity,
Mhm.
collaboration creates unity and direction. And you highlighted that so well. And I wanted to put a little mental note on that because when we decide that it's better off working together, there's so much more that we can do. I'm a huge advocate for the Napoleon Hill Foundation um, for Think and Grow Rich. And the one thing I know about the mastermind methodology is that the power of two minds together can create almost a third mind or greater. And it's phenomenal because there's so much more to it when you serve others as a result of getting what you want versus always getting what you want for serving yourself. And you did such a great job of explaining that. I'm only adding what the choir already knows. And so I
I
appreciate
mean, I
you
love it.
saying
You
that.
know what? It seems like such a true statement,
Yeah.
but so often people get it wrong. And I mean, like I said, I graduated from Indiana University, which was one of the top business schools at the time that I graduated, which we won't even go back there. But the point is, it just is that competitive mindset where we talk about collaboration, but a lot of people really don't know how to do it. And I think, I say that my ego, letting that go was the biggest game changer for me because I was stuck on always having to get credit for stuff. You know, when you're used to making high marks in school, you don't get that without people knowing what work you did. So to be in that mindset all through my academic career and to totally walk away from that, that was a hard
Yeah.
pill to swallow. But I mean, it's like night and day. I mean, it is so freeing to be able to say, okay, well, I don't know tech. So, hey, I have to have somebody support me on that. Or I don't know how to draw. So I need somebody else to do the graphics. I mean, that has just been such a weight off my shoulders because before I just had this mindset that I couldn't share a lot of the whole vision with other people because I was afraid I was going to not get the credit for what I felt I worked so hard for.
Absolutely. I think it was, I want to say it was Grant Cardone or some of the big dudes that came into the clubhouse room the other day that were highlighting on what you just elegantly touched on, which, it's funny how oftentimes we can get in our own way, but having enough awareness of our own egos to say, look, I'm the one keeping me from my future self because I'm getting in the way of something that someone else could do better or that I could do really, really well by working with others. And acknowledging, like you had said, your ego allows you to recognize that, maybe I'm in the wrong lane. Maybe there's a better lane for me that will allow the whole progress of traffic to accelerate faster. And I love how you said that. That was amazing.
Yeah, because I think, everybody, well, there's a few quotes that say, if you love what you do, it's really fun, or something like it's really not like work. And the only way that happens is if you're in your zone of genius, because you are able to do these things, what appears to be effortless, but it's not. You're still doing those hours. You're still reading or crafting your skill when nobody else is watching. But it is something that really feeds you and it drives you on. So I think it's really important to recognize that we all can shine. I had this quote that I put up the other day on LinkedIn, and it was that when you delegate, a lot of us think, oh, if I delegate, I'm giving my power away. I want to be in control of this. But delegation can be the opportunity to let somebody else shine. So if we think about it that way, that really can help us let go of that power struggle that we have when it comes to giving up tasks to other people.
I'm writing that quote here in the chat section. I'm sure it was quotable, but I wanted to tag you in it because that is very powerful. Here we go. ADKI. There we go. ADKINS. Boom. I'm so fueled by this conversation, and I wanted to ask you as a coach. There's two parts to this question. There's as an expert and as a coach, what you would advise others to do, but then there's the individuality of your own genius. As a mom of 15, where I'm sure it's not quiet at home ever, and space and boundaries and everything that comes into play. How do you, SuperMom, find your own place of genius?
I love that. And I get up early.
Oh.
So for years, I would think, oh, I'm going to stay up later after the kids go to bed. That's going to be my time. I'm falling asleep with the book in my lap. I'm falling asleep in the chair, my clothes on, not comfortable, not getting a good night's rest. But it is just that joy to choose to be a champion for myself first thing in the morning. So it doesn't have to be, 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, even though for me, when my kids were homeschooling, I was like, man, I would love to get up at 4:30 or 4 o'clock, because think of how much I can get accomplished before I wake them up, but it is just whatever time that you can dedicate to starting your day off with you in mind is the key. So that doesn't have to be super early, but just getting up an hour or, whatever it is you want to tackle. If it's exercise, if it's just having breakfast, a nice cup of coffee or tea or whatever that is that lights you up, for me, it's waking up and having my bed made, I just like to be able to see that that's one thing that's accomplished. And I feel like a champion. So it's like, I can look back and say, hey, I started my day off strong. So that's what is the thing for me when it comes to being a parent.
I absolutely love that, because there are universal truths.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the universal truths are, if you look at the daily schedules of some of the most, and I'll just bring it up, but wealthiest and successful people in this world, or to those who had control of the controllables in their life, 99% of them woke up early. And the book, The Miracle Morning, says, 5 a.m. is great. Join the 5 a.m. club. It could be 6 a.m. It could be just 30 minutes earlier. But I love that you mentioned that. Now on the coaching aspect, as a mother, as an expert, as a coach, as a mentor, do you see just the individual personalities blooming in your children as they start to find their own moments and areas and times of genius and environments of genius that they kind of find? I mean, because waking up early is always going to be a universal truth, that if you get up at the times where you'll have less distractions, therefore you will find more productivity in your day. But we also have the ability to find our own. I know that some people will rake the Zen garden, or they'll do some breathing exercises, or they'll do something to somewhat get intentional about the time they're about to perform. As a mother, as a coach, as a mentor, are you seeing kind of the individuality and personalities of your children start to develop their own geniuses?
Absolutely. And I think that's a great question, because so often in the coaching space, we get the feeling that it's one size fits all.
Right.
And it's not. You have to be in a mode to where you can actively listen. And, I'm the kind of coach that does not try to run the ball during the game. Right. So if you know what a coach does, a coach is not out there trying to do a layup or anything like that. They know their boundaries. And they know that the work really is with the player themselves. So we have to think about, what is it that we can ignite in them to take the right action so that they're going to be successful in the game. So I don't care how much I think I'm great and what my capabilities are. If that player doesn't have the confidence to play during the game, then I am not doing my job. So I think it's really the active listening and really giving space for them and asking them the right questions to have the courage to step up into the person that they already are, because that's going to be the driver when you're not around. So a quick story was, we got a lot of kids, and at the end of the school year, they have these awards days. And so they're designated by, this grade has it this time on this day. So my kids are really each other's role models. So at this time, I think my daughter was in first grade. She was the youngest at the time. She got like maybe 3 awards. The rest of her siblings got tons of awards. She just cried. She was so devastated. And I said, well, do you know what they did to get these awards? And so she was like, no. So I went into it, told her what the requirements were and everything. And so she still was upset. So at the beginning of the school year, we have these vision boards that we do for the kids, and we let them pick out whatever their vision was and everything. And she's like, I can't remember how many awards it was. And I said, well, you know what it takes to get those awards? You got to turn your homework in on time, early or whatever. And we kind of went through what that looked like for her. So she accomplished her own goals. She set them, she accomplished them based on how she felt. And so there were times where she wouldn't be focused, and I'd be like, now your vision says that you want this, or you think you're going to get this if you do this. And so she was able to motivate herself. So I think it's just that accountability, steering people in the direction of what they already want, and just holding them accountable, just reminding them and asking them the right questions.
So well said. Thank you for sharing all of that. I wanted to transition our conversation to the meat and potatoes of our podcast, where You basically highlighted that, but I want to give you the stage for a few minutes here and to teach us a little bit about the knowledge you'd like to share, what nuggets of knowledge or what you wish you would have known when you were younger or earlier or when you were dealing with hard times. What knowledge could you share with my audience? And then we'll issue a challenge. But I wanted to give you that amazing minute or two of what you just said as a preface to what you're about to share now, and give you give you the stage, but two, give you the opportunity to teach everybody a little bit of something of magic, something amazing that that helps and guides a lot of people.
Awesome. Well, I think the thing that comes to mind for me would be the importance of a reframe. Oftentimes when we overcome challenges in our past, we try to live life from that point forward, and we want to forget about this past life, whatever that looked like. If it's some trauma or something that we did harm to ourselves in, and we walk away from that and we want to live this new life. And so this is where you get the term skeletons in your closet, because you've got this past that you're locking away, throwing away the key, and you want to live life as this new person. The problem with that is that past has helped you be who you are today. And you really have to understand that past no longer defines you. If you're locking it away and if you're feeling like, you want to be separated from it, then you really have not grown from that past. So that was something that I really had to face in my own journey, because I went through 3 hospitalizations for depression. And so it was that third time that I really realized, okay, I'm blaming my husband, I'm blaming my kids about my plight. However, I'm the common denominator. So I had to learn to embrace the history, the thinking, the mindset that I had, and realize that I could change that. However, I could change it one step at a time. So it was the mindset of recognizing that I'm not that person anymore. I have grown. And with those lessons and experiences, I can choose to be a different person, and I can reframe it in a way that serves me and allows me to serve the world in a lot better place. So I think what I would leave with everybody is our past is a part of our journey in order to help us to be the people who we are today. With that past, there are some things that maybe were in our control, maybe they weren't in our control. Maybe we were victimized and we were ridded with this victim mindset, but that doesn't have to be the reality of where we are today or our future. We have the ability to choose to be victorious. And with that is really facing that past in a way that you're empowered by the knowledge and the lessons that you learned, and you are choosing to live life differently. And that past is also an opportunity for you to connect with other people who may be struggling with what you struggle with, but you're empowered in order to give them the tools necessary for them to overcome the same challenges that were part of your past.
Absolutely. I'm speechless. I don't know how to follow up on that other than based on the knowledge you've shared, this incredible knowledge that we should all obtain as life lessons from somebody who has seen it all, right? What's a challenge that you can issue to my listeners, something that they can take action on today? I know that you mentioned that action is very, very important, and action is a must, a requirement. It is a necessity to the progress of life. But what is a challenge you could issue to my listeners that they can take action on today?
Yeah, I think I would say to remember to smile every day. Now, that's an acronym because, one of the things that I learned with depression was that I had a formula for after I was depressed as the basis for my coaching, but I wanted to have something that was proactive during the pandemic. So I came up with the proactive method of a smile, and it is the 5 pillars that are important to maintain and watch daily so that you don't fall into that downward spiral, because we've had a lot going on when it comes to this pandemic. So the elements of the smile are sleep, mood, inner voice, laughter, and energy. So if you remember to smile every day, you check in with each one of those areas. And even if you have someone who you feel is not quite themselves, you can dive into any one of those pillars and start them on a journey of getting out of whatever that they may be in. Now, I'm not a doctor, but this is just what has worked for me as a mother of 15 and juggling everything that I have juggled. And it just helps me to remember that I'm in charge of my attitude. I'm in charge of my actions and thoughts. And simply taking time to smile will help me accomplish those things.
Can you tell me what the L was again?
Laughter.
Laughter. How could I forget? Oh, man, this is fantastic. I love the smile method. I'm going to post this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Don't forget to smile every day. Sleep, get your mood right, have your inner voice right, laugh as often as possible, and energy. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. That is a fantastic, fantastic way to go. How can my listeners, I know that many of them are probably very, very interested in knowing more about you, your story, your life, and I want to ask you about your books later. How can they get a hold of you? What's the best way for them to reach you if they wanted to learn more, if they wanted to follow you on social media, or they wanted to even reach out for a consult?
I'm everywhere. Okay. Anywhere you see America's Supermom on, except for Twitter. I mean, I have a Twitter account, but I have not been on it in forever. But Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it. I'm everywhere. I'm all about raising awareness. So they can find me any one of those places.
Okay. Great. And I'm going to post here in the chat section a few of those right now. And was there anything you'd like to give away, or and there's no pressure to, but I know that you mentioned a strategy call. If anyone wanted to get a hold of you, is that just the link to your Calendly?
Yes. Yep. With the strategy call. Because I believe that, a conversation, just taking that time to really focus on you. That's the problem that many of us have. We're so busy being entrepreneurs, serving people, but it's just like on the airplane, you have to put your own oxygen mask on first. So just having that time to just reflect and think about, am I moving in the right direction? Where am I? I'm feeling lost. Let me get my bearings. And that can be accomplished with a strategy call.
Awesome. Boom. Posting that. Fantastic. So you guys have that link in the chat section or in the show notes of this podcast episode. And you guys will find her on Clubhouse for sure. She's at some of the top of the panels talking as a moderator. Her name is America's Supermom, LaChelle Adkins. Thank you so much for and I want to compliment you on just how, and you see my eyes going left to right. I'm formulating the words as I'm speaking. You're so fluid in your communications, very, very complex and very, very amazing at how you communicate and disseminate information. And I want to just compliment you on that because, again, after all the crazy life experience that you have and have gone through, yet you are so composed and so well at orating and communicating with people. And that is what makes you an incredible coach and motivator, is that you have the ability to communicate, but also you're a fantastic listener. And I know that as a mom of 15, you've got to be a good listener to get down to the bottom of everything. And so that is it's pretty phenomenal. But I want to thank you and compliment you because you do hold yourself to high regards. And I honor that. And I want my listeners to know how much I respect you. And please send our gratitude from myself, the Circle of Knowledge executive team, as well as everyone within our audience. Thank you for being the mother to a husband who served our country, and to those who've just given service in any aspect of life in progressing and furthering our freedom. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that wonderful compliment. I need to put that on replay because my kids might have a different version. Okay.
Just send them to me. I'll tell them.
I really appreciate that because I think, we all are in this together, really. And it really brings me to the whole brand of America's Supermom is, I was on that track of following the American dream, and I thought it had to be a certain way. And when it didn't happen that way, I thought, man, what is my life going to be like? And so to really incorporate being a mom and a part of the American dream and defining it on my own terms was really the thing that just gives me the most light about my life and gives me the joy to get out of bed. So I really appreciate that you said that, because I work really hard just to give people a space of feeling comfortable and not feeling like they have to get into a certain mold. It doesn't have to look like everybody else looks in order for them to be the best version of themselves.
Well, you're very welcome, and I meant everything. And again, another warning to all of our audience members: what you see on television in Hollywood is not the reality. The reality is that we all struggle, that we all work hard, and we all provide in a way that allows our genius to bloom and blossom. And LaChelle, you do such a great job at that, and we are all noticing it. So I wanted you to hear that from me, and thank you for, again, your time to be on the show and sharing your knowledge and encouraging my listeners to smile and to do that which will make their lives a lot better.
Oh, you are so welcome, and I'm looking forward to you being on my podcast.
Looking forward to it as well. I'll bring the energy, baby. Woohoo!
I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you so much. Again, everybody, this has been another amazing wrap up of our Friday sessions of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. Today, you got to hear from America's Supermom, Miss LaChelle Adkins. She's amazing. You got to go get. Oh, and my last question for you, I just remembered. Boom, hit my head. Tell us about your books, where to find them.
Yes, they're all on Amazon. I guess one of them I have in front of me, Inspirational Women of the World. This is a collaboration, 20 women. I'm the only one from the United States that's represented. It's a global project to raise funds for entrepreneur women in Morocco.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. That is amazing. And tell me a little bit, are we able to buy the comic book and the trading cards? Because that would be super cool too.
The comic book, I'll send you the link.
Cool.
I love it because I'm not, I just am showing up as America's Supermom in the comic book.
Yeah.
So a lot of the planning and all that, I don't know, but I will definitely get that information to you.
Cool. Fantastic. And when you do, I'll put it in the show notes so that my listeners have access to that too. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, again, another great session of the Circle of Knowledge podcast, whether you're listening to this live or that you are on YouTube or now LinkedIn, or if you are listening to the replay through our podcasting channels where you listen to podcasts. We hope that you've enjoyed this session. Feel free to tag and look for all the provided links and information in the show notes today. And we hope that we'll see you all again soon. And we can't wait to hear from you. So if you have any questions, comments, or if you'd like me to bring someone on the show, please send me an email at john@amplifiedminds.com, as we've absorbed that company, and that's been a really, really exciting experience for us. This is John Kovach Jr. signing out. Appreciate you all. Have a great and blessed day. This is John Kovach Jr. with the Circle of Knowledge podcast. Just wanted to take a minute and say thank you again for being a listener. We are in our 5th season. Can you believe that? 5th season. This is a podcast that we literally started in our basement, and we've graduated, we've evolved, we've added so many amazing guests and speakers to this amazing podcast. And I want to just thank you because you guys make it possible. I will report that we've got over 25,000 listeners worldwide. So thank you for being a listener. And to give back, we just want to touch base with you to learn more about what you love about our show. And if you will please send me an email, direct email, like this is going to be the email that you want to send it to. My email is John, Jon, @mychampionscircle.com. And that is the email you can reach me at. Please send us some advice, some counsel, some suggestions. If you like any piece of the show, Or if there's anyone that was on the show that you really loved and want them back on the show, please let us know, because the conversations that we have on this show really do get slightly below the surface. But if we have guests come on for a second or a third time, then we can even get deeper. And that's what I'm all about, is getting into the core and the deep conversations to help you enhance, increase, and improve your knowledge. Selfishly, I do this podcast because I just love learning from amazing people. And I hope you do too. The stories are very, very impactful. They're inspiring. They motivate me. And they also just, get me out of bed every day. I really love doing this show. And if you love it too, please show your support. You can you can send us some money if you want, but that's not necessarily important. Most importantly, is just hearing what you want to know. And if you love this show, please go ahead and give us a subscription or a follow or a like, or even just leave a great 5-star review. That would really, really benefit the show. And if you have nothing nice to say, then just buzz off. So again, I'm John Kovach Jr. I'm an international motivational speaker. I'm a global mastermind leader, and I'm the founder of Champion Circle Networking Association, a growing networking association that takes mastermind methodologies and puts them to the test as true professionals seeking to grow and scale their businesses work on that every single week, every single day. We follow the teachings of Think and Grow Rich and so many other great, amazing books, which we review on this show. So if you've really enjoyed the content, please show us some love and support. I just want to hear from you. I want to know who's out there. Who's out there? Tell me who's out there. Anyways, we appreciate you. And again, thank you for enjoying the show. We look forward to launching a few more episodes. We go live every week, and we will, if you want to catch us on the live show, that will be on Facebook or LinkedIn. Just look me up. It's John, Jon, Kovach, Kovach, Jr., Jr. And you can find us on pretty much anywhere, but we go live on Friday mornings. But the show will launch here on the podcast channel that you listen to every Monday morning. So looking forward to more opportunities to convert and to serve you. So get on it, go with those amazing counsels, and that makes really good sense, right? But please take the counsel and the knowledge that you receive from this show and put it to action. And let me know what stories, what advances, what amazing overcoming challenges you're having in your day-to-day life. All right. With that being said, thank you for listening to the show. We love you.